Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here with Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Midland, Texas, and I'm so excited to be with you here today for another week of online class to go. And today we are using the Adventure Together bundle from the online exclusives section of my store. I think you're going to love these cute cards we're making today. And then tomorrow we'll have a fabulous fun fold for you that has a little surprise. And then on Wednesday we'll have a 3D project for you, all using the Everyday Adventure Together bundle. Hi, Jan. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, when you guys jump in, would you please say hi in the comments? Let me know where you're from. And then we can, in just a few minutes, get started with our projects with Adventure Together bundle today. Before we begin, today is, I did a little sizzler about this yesterday. Let's come back to that one. Today is the last day to register for the Faith Collection and Storybook Friends Easter class. It's this Thursday in person, but you can also get it to go. Hi, Linda Verts. How are you? So glad you're here. Hope it's warming up for you guys. It was 30 degrees when I woke up this morning in Midland, but it's supposed to be 90 tomorrow, so it all evens out, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this slide off real quickly, show you these beautiful cards that I've designed for our class, all with an Easter theme. I love the Faith Collection cards with the cross and the palms and the lilies and all of that. Let your faith be bigger than your fears. I love that. And then 2 cards using the Storybook Friends and the ephemera pack. Oh no, woke up to snow. It just seems crazy, right? I know it snows in April in the north, but it still feels like, it shouldn't. And then this is our last card using the Storybook Friends bundle. I just die cut that out of the DSP and Easter greetings inside. So four simple Easter cards that you can put together. I'm getting these mailed out this week. Today's the last day to register. You can also come in person on Thursday, but I need you to register here pretty soon. It's only $20, you guys. That is a pretty inexpensive class from me, and $5 extra to get it shipped to you. So think about that. And then the next one is I have a cookie encounter Tuttle Up Stamping Cookies and Cards night on April 14th. That's a week from today. I'll put the link in the description. It's in person here at my house, and I'd love for some more Midland, Odessa, Andrews, Greenland, people to come enjoy some cookies and some cards and some community, and I think you'll really have a good time. These cards are so cute, and the cookies are delicious, and you get to design them. How cute is that? So okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Last but not least, I have a super May Craft Trio event. It's cards and keepsakes. You make a memory keeper album using the Wildflower Birthday ephemera pack and paper and some other things. Arched Wishes is the class I designed, and we're also using the Classic Wedding bundle from the online exclusives, and you can take 1 or 2 or all 3. If you take all 3, we give you a little bit of a discount, okay? So I want to take that off and just real quickly show you these adorable cards that are in that Arched Wishes. This is one of the cards you'll be making. Sets up like an easel. I love that. Here's another one. I love all the gold in this, right? With the pinks and the blues. How fun is that? It opens like this. And then the third card I designed is a flip flap. How cute is that? So cake, slice of cake, and cupcake inside. such a fun birthday class. So if you're into birthday cards, I know some of you guys, that's what you mostly do, then you'll want to take that one because it will be super fun. I'm going to pull down my camera here because I just realized that I didn't put my focus on do not disturb, and we don't want anything interfering, right, with our stamping today. So here we go. Let me make sure that's all set up the way it should be. You know what? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, so here we go. Today's cards, we will be using the Adventure Together stamp set, cute RV, camping theme, happy campers, let the adventure begin. It comes with these awesome dies. I love the road tread die, the wheels, the trees, the grass. There's a little camera there. I didn't use that on my cards today, but maybe Monica will use them on our next two projects. And look, use every stamp in the stamp set for the projects today. I'm also bringing in some rhinestones that you can get a package free with a $60 order. We're also using the everyday arches and the stylish shapes dies. Okay, all right, so let's get started. I'm excited to get to stamping with you. Okay, let's tuddle up and get stamping. How does that sound? Okay, so our first card is one that was inspired by Claire Daly. She lives in Australia. I've met Claire. She's a beautiful woman. This is our first card right here, the simplest of the three. Do you guys love this RV? It could also be a little ice cream truck, I guess, if you wanted it to be. This card is super simple, so let's get started. We're starting with a card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. And then I took a panel that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I ran it through the plaid, Forever Plaid embossing folder. This is going to get adhered right to the front of this card base. Crazy things happen when you're on Facebook, right? Okay, here we go. So I'm just adding adhesive, and I usually put it on the card base instead of on the embossed panel because I don't like my embossing getting smushed by my adhesive roller. Sometimes if you push too hard, you can push out the embossing. Hi, Brenda. Thank you. So there's our card front. Okay. Then I have cut 2 arches. I've cut this one out of basic white. It has a base that is about 2.5 inches wide. And I cut this one out, second to the smallest, and its base is about 1.25 inches wide. Okay, so let's start with this one right here. I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon ink, and I'm going to stamp some trees. And for this one, I'm using just the largest tree. There's also a smaller tree that we'll be using some. So I'm adding some trees. Okay, and then I'm stamping off some trees. Okay, so shadows of trees, solid images of trees. So there we go. Let's do another one here. And then let's stamp off and add some in between here. I want this to look very foresty. Let's see, let's do a couple off the sides here. All right, that looks good and pretty covered there. And then on this panel, this other arched panel here, I am going to, I'm going to see if I can move that down a little. There we go. I'm going to stamp Let the Adventure Begin, and I'm going to stamp that in Lost Lagoon as well. Let the Adventure Begin. There we go. Okay, so I can go ahead and put both of these on my card front right here with dimensionals. Just had to pull out a brand new package of dimensionals. I go through these dimensionals pretty quickly. They are a staple you need to have. You know me, I even like to use all those edges, right? Okay, so I'm going to take off the backing here. This is going to get popped up right here, kind of along that edge. And this one's going to get popped up, but I don't need that much. So I'm going to take it off the edge, and then I'm going to cut it down even with the edge, okay? It's April the 7th already. Hard to believe, right? So people are probably starting to get ready for school to be out, summer plans, anticipating all the fun of summer. I love summer. If you were to ask me what is my favorite season, I would definitely say summer. I love the outdoors, the warmth, even the summer in Midland. It's hot, hot, hot. I just love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So there we go. And you know what? I think that since the stamp and the ink is out already, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card. I'm just adding some trees. To the left corner here. Then maybe I'll stamp a couple of them off. There we go. That's going to go on the inside here. Then we'll get started on our tire tread. Oops, look, I almost did it upside down. Brenda, were you screaming out there? My friend Brenda says, when I start to see you do something you shouldn't, I start screaming, Judy, don't do it. I caught myself. There we go. So that's in the right way there. Okay, I'm going to put this away because I don't need that Lost Lagoon anymore. And I have a couple of fun pieces here. I have a strip of dark basic gray. It is 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm hoping that's long enough to cover my tire tread that I'm getting ready to cut. So one of the dies in our die set is this piece here, which is a tire tread right here. Okay, and I'll show you how that oh, it would. You're right, Jan. I should stamp that on my envelope. I don't have my envelopes out right now, but before I mail it, I think I will. So all I'm doing, I get to talking, I forget. I'm taking this tire tread piece on smoky slate, and I'm just going to run it through right along the edge right there of that smoky slate cardstock, and then I'll cut it down to the size I need it. Okay. And when you cut it out, this is what it looks like. So it doesn't cut the edges. It just cuts the imprint of that tire tread. So I'm going to take a darker basic gray, and I'm going to add it to the back side here. And it's going to allow that to kind of show through. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so I'm going to add some liquid glue now, just to some areas where this basic gray piece can attach to the smoky gray piece here. And you can add a little darkness from the back side. There we go. See, so it looks like that. So now you've got the basic gray. Let's see if I can get it close to the camera, shining through the smoky gray. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. I'm just going to cut this down on both sides, and I'm going to cut this into a point on both ends, so it kind of looks like an arrow. There we go. So this is going to get popped up right here on the front of my card. So on this side, I want flat glue. On this side, I want a dimensional because I want it to be level, right? Don't want any cockeyed arrows going on there. So I'm putting a, there we go. Dimensional on one end, flat glue on the other. And this is just going to sit up right like that right there. Okay? Now, all I have left is our cute little RV, which I made pink. It's adorable. So I'm going to use my Memento black ink. Okay, so let's be honest out there, you guys. Does anybody already own an RV? Does anybody want to own an RV and travel the United States in an RV? Or is anybody out there like me and has absolutely no desire to ever travel the country in an RV? I never have, so maybe that is, you know, maybe I need to experience some more things, but I have to tell you, I have no desire, and I'm not really sure why that is, other than just the thought of being in an RV park with a lot of other people. Just kind of stresses me out a little bit, if you want to be honest. Okay, so I'm going to use gray granite here. Let me find my dark gray granite, but I want a light smoky slate here. So what is your guys' views on RV travel? You can let me know. I know, Becky. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining me. That has always been my deal, right? It's the bathroom part. I don't know. I know a lot of RV parks have shower facilities and stuff in them, but I don't know. I'm spoiled, I guess. I like the comforts of a hotel, having a bathroom, electricity, being able to get away from people if I need to, right? And for some reason, when I go by RV parks, I see a lot of RVs like just right on top of each other, which does not appeal to me at all. There we go. So I did pool party on my little awning right there, and I did every other color, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon, and this is light Lost Lagoon, and I'm just going to do the plants in this little window box. I'm going to do my light pool party again for the door. Becky, you can come visit me in your future RV, and I'll let you park it in front of my house, okay? Then you can have the convenience of water and bathroom and all of that. Okay, so that's all I need for that, for my pool party. I'm going to put those away. Then my grays. Okay, so I'm using light gray granite for the inside of my wheels here. And my steps and my bumper in the front and my bumper in the back. And my window box, I guess, too. Like that. I'm going to grab my dark. I'm going to do dark around the wheels. Make them a little darker than the centers. Then use it to add just a little bit of shading to my bumper. Like that. And then I think all I have is my pink left. So I'm going to grab my light pink. Yes, Lisa, that's exactly the same. I love to travel too, but I want all the conveniences of modern day living, right? um, I really loved the all inclusive resort in Mexico we went to last year. That was pretty fun. You don't have to cook for yourself. People are bringing you drinks by the pool, right? I suppose that that would probably add up a lot compared to, well, RVs are not cheap, are they? So, maybe not. Okay, so I'm using some light, pretty and pink here. Do you like my pink RV? I think it's kind of cute. And then let me add some shadows here around my wheels and my door frame, my grill. There we go. Cute, 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 right? Okay, so I'm going to grab my die with my RV here. And I'm going to line that up. Add a piece of tear and tape to hold it in place. I'm going to run it through off camera over here. My die cutting machine. If you're looking for a new die cutting machine, I highly recommend Stampin' Up's. I feel like it, first of all, okay, so I want to show you something. When you get a little more white than you want, you can just take your paper snips and just trim off any excess. So I got a little more white. It looks like my die slid a little. My fault, not the machine's fault. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit of that excess white there and get it looking just how I want it to. There we go. Okay, so my RV is going to sit right here on top of these little tire tracks. Now, on this side over here, I just need one dimensional. Under this side, I need two because I have two lifts. I already have one lift going on there, and I want it to lift again, okay? So I'm going to add some dimensionals, just a single one to the top and bottom here. And then over here on this top front of my RV, I'm going to layer two dimensionals on top of each other. Here, I'll show you how that looks. I just layered two on top of each other. That way, it will all be even. Okay, so single lift on this side, but that single lift is already on a lifted panel, so I'm going to do a double lift on this side, and maybe I'll put another one under this wheel right here, a single one. It's going to be on the tread of that. Okay, cute, cute, cute. Do you guys like that? Really cute. Okay, so now, if I have to say so myself, and thank you to Claire Daly, who inspired that for me, I'm going to grab my rhinestones, and I'm going to do something fun that I don't know if I've done in quite a while. I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon blend, and I'm going to color these in the Lost Lagoon. I'm going to cover one large and three small there. So I don't know if you can tell how I added Lost Lagoon. And this dries pretty fast, which is fun because, you know, blends are alcohol based. So they dry really fast. And I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to put it right down here by my RV. And then we're going to put three of them up in the sky right here next to my trees. There we go. What do you guys think about that? That is card number 1. I love the colors, don't you? Now, all of these are going to have a little bit different of a color scheme. So that is our first card. Let me put this one away. And gosh, I am so excited about the next 2. I don't know which one to do first, but I think I'm going to do this one. Okay, so this one is more of kind of a, what do I want to say? Outdoorsy, nighttime scene, right? And I created this kind of moon, also kind of like a sunset scene, using strips of paper. So I want to show you how I did that. Okay, so I'm taking 4 colors of paper here. Let me get my Daffodil Delight out here. Okay, and what I did is I started with the Flirty Flamingo on top. Does not need to be that big, so maybe I'll cut that down a little bit. And then I took my Calypso Coral and I'm going to tear an edge. And it doesn't need to be straight. You kind of want it to have like some fun edges to it, okay? There we go. So we're going to adhere those 2 together. All right? Like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my Daffodil Delight. Again, probably doesn't need to be this long, so let me cut a little bit of that off. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to tear the edge here. Willy-nilly. And add that. Maybe I'll offset those highs and lows a little bit. There we go. And then my last one is this piece right here. This is Smoky Slate. And I'm going to do the same thing with it. Kind of liked it looking like some mountain peaks. They're kind of showing in the back, right like that. Okay, but before I add this one on it, I'm going to get those trees again. And this time I'm going to stamp it in Pretty Peacock ink. Right. Let me grab my Pretty Peacock here. I'm using Pretty Peacock a lot on this project. It might be the only color I use other than Memento Black. And I just added a few trees at the bottom here of this just to add some interest to the bottom of that circle. I don't know how that'll end up cutting out, but we'll do our best here. I'm going to add some adhesive to this and then add it on to this piece right here. All right, so that's how I'm going to create kind of that sunset theme. Before I put this Pretty Peacock away, I'm going to stamp 2 more large trees on this remaining Smoky Slate panel and 1 smaller tree. There we go. Clean that off. Have you guys ever done this before? I thought it was kind of a cool technique. I saw somebody else do it with a different stamp set, and I kind of researched what the sunset would look like over a mountain, and that's how I kind of put this away. I know. See, I do extensive research in my stamping projects. Okay, so I can just put this however I want. I can decide, do I want more flirty flamingo, less flirty flamingo? I think I kind of want it to go right like that. So I'm going to go over here to my die cutting machine, and I'm going to tell you that because there's so many layers here, you might have to run the circle through back and forth several times, okay? I ran it through a couple of times with the die on top, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing with the die on the bottom, okay? So what I mean by that is I'm going to flip it over like this now and run it through with the die underneath, and sometimes that just helps cut through all those layers just a little bit better. Oh no! You guys, I made a mess of it because my die slipped. So let's try that all over again. I apologize. Look, my die slipped and look what happened. So we're going to have to start all over again. My apologies. This is a cool technique and I don't want to lose you on it. So we're going to start with a flirty flamingo. I'm going to grab a Coastal Cabana. Luckily, I have kind of a piece of yellow here already, and I'll grab another piece of gray granite here. Okay. Darn it. Just go ahead and say, Judy, it's okay. It's just paper. I just hate when I really want to show you something cool and I mess it up. So there we go. It's just paper, right? Let's try it once again. Tear the edge. Add it to the flirty flamingo. I should have probably taped it in place. Let me grab a piece of Daffodil Delight here. I'm going to tear the edge. See, let's kind of offset those a little bit like that. I'm going to cut this down and add my edge of smoky slate to the bottom. And I like it to look kind of mountainy, right? And then that is going to get put on kind of right like that, but I'm going to add some trees to the bottom here. There we go. Add this right there underneath my Daffodil Delight. How do I want to do this? Maybe kind of like that. Okay. I'm going to add my circle, and this time maybe I will be smart and tape it down with some Post-it note tape. There we go. Then it won't slide on me. Kind of like the sunset kind of look to it, so I'm gonna make sure I get that Looking good. All right. Flip it over. It's taped down so it shouldn't shift on me. Woohoo! There we go. Okay, let me pop this out. Grab my paper snips, kind of get those last little pieces that are holding on there. This is really very simple. I'm just making it way more difficult than it has to be. Okay, there we go. Cute. Okay, let me put that away. On the bottom edge of our card right here, I have some smoky slate as well, and I've run it through with that plaster embossing folder. So I'm going to grab my pretty peacock card base, okay? I'm going to put this away for right now before I put my hand in it. And I have a piece of that smoky slate that is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. So it's going to go right across here, across the bottom of my card. And I'm going to tear an edge on this. I'm going to grab that embossing folder. And I'm going to add this strip to the inside. And I liked it because I thought, even though it's kind of like a plaster kind of look, it made it look like rocks in the mountains. Okay, so let me pull this away. All right, there we go. Kind of fun look to it, right? So this is going to go right here on this bottom edge of our card. Add a couple of strips of seal here. Get it straight on the bottom edge right there. There we go. Okay. And then this is going to get popped up right here. Isn't that cool? On the center of the card, but I'm going to use dimensional, so it looks like it's kind of coming from the sky right there. Okay. Here we go. Maybe one in the middle. This is pretty thick, so I don't think we really have to worry about it sagging in the center, but I'll add one there just in case. Okay, I'm going to take these trees and I'm going to die cut them out separately here. So let me grab those dies. And I have 2 large and a small. There we go. So how do you guys feel about this stamp set? Is it something that you've tried and you've enjoyed? You hadn't even looked at it. You didn't even know it was there. How does this fit into you? I will say that for me, it's a little out of my comfort zone, but I do love the cards we've made today. And I think if you had the right person who, you know, I have several people in my life that are campers and RVers. And you know what this would also be cute for is someone who is retiring and planning on doing some traveling. What a cute card to get to someone, right? Who's gonna start their adventure of RVing, even though it's not my thing. It can be somebody else's thing, right? Okay, let me put those away. And I'm going to cut one more tree here. All right. So I'm going to put my trees. I don't know, maybe this time I'll put this one right on there, right on the front. Doesn't have to be exactly like my other one, right? Put one right there. Put one underneath that one over here on this side. Maybe like that, peeking out. And then another one over here on the other side. Right here, maybe a little higher, a little lower, maybe a little higher. There we go. Right like that. Cute, huh? Now I'm going to stamp my camper. And I have a piece of smoky slate here that I'm going to stamp it on. Let me get my dies all put away. Are you guys still out there, or did I lose you? You got really quiet on me. So hopefully you're all still with me here. Memento black ink. And I just need to color this. And for this one, I added some different colors of blends. So I'm grabbing that gray granite again. Thanks, Jan. And I am, so you are there. You're still out there. Thank you. I'm adding some gray granite, this time to the top of my RV. I'm adding it to the interior of the wheels right here. I'm adding it to the front of my RV. And to my little bumper right there. I'm going to grab my Calypso Coral blends. And I'm going to do my awning every other color. And then I'm going to do my pretty peacock for the flowers in the there we go. Coastal Cabana. I like these colors together. I feel like it looks very Colorado-ish. I know that's not really a word, but I can make up words. And then every other awning here is going to be light and dark Calypso Coral. And then I think I'm going to do this time around the window of my door right there, and then dark. There we go. I think that's it. So let me grab my die. My RV right here. And I'm going to cut that out. Line everything up. Maybe I won't have to trim it at all. Cut that out over here. Do you like this color combination together? I think it's a fun one. Okay, there we go. There's our camper. And then I have a label here that I'm going to stamp my Happy Camper on. And I'm going to use pretty peacock for that as well. Go a little more to the right than to the left. There we go. And trim a corner here. Happy campers, trim the little edge. Now, I got a little bit of linen thread. You don't need very much because you can see I just have a tiny little bit peeking out that edge. Oh, you're welcome, Jeanne. Oh, thanks, Linda. I'm glad. Thanks for chiming in. I got quiet, so I didn't know if people were still there, if I'd lost connection. So thanks for letting me know. Yep, I'm just tying a tiny little bow. Tiniest of little bows. I'm going to add this to the back side of this label right here. Like that. I'm going to grab, how do I want to do this? Let's think about it. I think I'm going to grab my seal and just add some seal right here. There we go. And then some dimensionals to pop it up. My last card has a lot of purple in it. I think it's kind of cool looking too. Okay, this is going to get popped up right here at the bottom. There we go. And then this RV is going to get popped up right going along this side right here. Flat where my finger is right here. And a couple of dimensionals over here on this other side. How high do I want this to go? Maybe about like that. Cute, huh? Now, I'm going to just take some of those rhinestones and add those rhinestones to the sky to look like stars. Here we go. I'm going to close this ink pad. So you have this set already, Jan. You're like me. You hadn't really played with it very much. Okay, I'm just going to add some stars up here in the sky. There we go. Super cute, right? Okay, now for the inside, all I did was this. I grabbed a blending brush and some smoky slate. And I added. So if you're new to me today, thanks for joining me. Today, on Mondays at noon every week, I do 3 cards. That are just kind of regular cards. Awesome, but you know, not a fun fold or anything. And then every Tuesday I do a fun fold. So I just added a little smoky slate right to that little end right there. And then I'm going to grab my trees again and add a couple of trees to this side, different sizes. There we go. And then I'm grabbing that adventure together and writing let adventure begin right there in those trees. Great for retirement, right? Let me clean these stamps and then I'll add all of that into the inside here. very clean. I'm going to flip my chamois here, do the other side. These dark colors really saturate your chamois pretty quick. Okay, here's my RV, and I'm going to add this to the inside of my card. Oh, I'm just glad you're here, Christina. Thanks for joining me. We're playing with the Adventure Together bundle today from the online exclusives and having fun with it. I'll show all the cards at the end. This is the second card. I made a mistake and kind of had to, oh, I've already done, oh, that's the wrong card. That's my original. Here's the one I just did. I'm going to add, I was like, how did I already do that if the panel's right here? Okay. Sheesh. You guys. Gotta watch out for me here. Okay, so this is going to go right like that. Cute, huh? So that is card number 2. I like it as well. Okay, now let me put that back in its case, and I'm going to start on the third card, which is really fun. I love all the purple in it, which you'll see here pretty quick. All right, so here's our last card. Oh, do you love the purple in it? Let the adventure begin. It has the purples. I pulled out this paper right here from the Everyday Skies DSP, 6x6 DSP, and cut one of the arches. Let's see, what arch did I use? I used the arch that is, I think this one. Nope, one size bigger. This one right here. Okay, and I just cut it right out of this little section right here of the DSP. But you could really use any of these parts, right? Okay. And we'll just go ahead and get started. I have a card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. I have a panel that is Highland Heather, 4 by 5 1/4. I don't know why all of a sudden my desk is feeling very small. I don't think I'm utilizing this side of it very well here. Okay, so I'm going to add this to my card front right here. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp some of my trees in Night of Navy onto that Highland Heather panel. Okay, so I have one tree kind of over here like that, another one on this side, maybe a couple coming up here from the bottom. There we go. And then I have another piece of Highland Heather that is just a scrap piece that I'm going to stamp a large and a small on, and then I'm going to die cut those out here in just a second. Large tree, small tree. There we go. Okay, so this panel, put those aside for just a second. This panel is going to go right on the front of my card base right here. Do you like this color combination, the navy with the Highland Heather? Again, I just pulled those colors right out of that DSP from the Everyday Skies bundle. There we go. Okay, now here is the other piece of that DSP that I pulled out right there. And I'm going to stamp some moon and some stars up here in the corner. And I'm going to do that in Night of Navy as well. There we go. This is going to get adhered flat on the front of the card. Go right there. And then I have a piece of the opposite side of that DSP, and it looks a little more like stars. So isn't that kind of cool? Okay, so this is going to go right on the front here, across my paper, overlapping that arch just a little bit. It's okay, Sue. Like I was saying to Christina, I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for coming on. Always appreciate that you're conscientious of my time with my Facebook Live. You missed a major mistake, so maybe it's good that you just popped in, right? You don't have to endure the mistake that made me go a little late today. I'm a little over time, but not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tree dies here. I'm going to cut out these navy trees on the purple background. Have you played with Adventure Together yet, Sue? This is a fun little stamp set and bundle. Okay, there we go. Let me cut these trees out. And then I have a chair, a campfire, and a RV to color. There we go. These are going to get popped up. Let me pull my camper die out. I'm going to go ahead and pull my chair out and my campfire here. And I need this little label there too. It is really cute. Sometimes I get tired of doing flowers. Do you guys feel that way sometimes? Like, I just need something other than flowers today to stamp with. Although you could make beautiful retirement cards with flowers. I'm not saying that. Somebody out there is going to get mad at me for saying that. Okay, so here's one of my trees. I'm going to pop it up and then pop up the smaller one right there. Isn't that fun? So let me grab my dimensionals. Now, I have great watchers. I have only had one person get mad at me, and it's because I called Melon Mambo Melon Mamba, and they were very upset about that. So, I make mistakes. I'm human. So, this is going to go right here. Cute, right? And then my other little one is going to go right over here. Do you like the purples with the navies? Thanks, Jan. Christina says yes. Sue's saying she hasn't played with it yet. There we go. So cute. Okay. Now I have some little pieces here. I have a piece of Azure Afternoon that I'm going to stamp our chair on, our camping chair. And I'm going to use Azure Afternoon to stamp that on Azure Afternoon. Can't really see it in this piece of DSP as much as the other one. And I kind of like that you get different looks depending on what part of that DSP you use, right? So this is going to get cut out with that die right there. I'm going to grab my tear and tape and get that down. I'm going to die cut that out when I die cut the other pieces out. So let me just cut a little piece off of that. And then on my basic white scraps, I'm going to stamp my camper in Memento Black. And I'm going to stamp my campfire in Memento Black. And I'm going to use my blends to color those. And then die cut them out. So there we go. There's my campfire. Here is my RV. And this time we're coloring this RV a little bit more than what we have done so far today. Brenda says that she screams at her computer when she sees that I'm starting to do something I shouldn't. I'm glad you're watching out for me out there. Okay, so this RV is going to get colored a little differently. I did them all just a little bit different. So I'm grabbing my smoky slates and I'm doing the top of my RV here with light. A little squeaky. My bumper. I like that you can get different looks with the blends with your RV. You can make it match the paper, which is kind of what I did. I pulled the colors out that were in the paper. There we go. There's all my light. I'm going to add some dark with my wheels here. I think circles are hard to do with blends. I don't know why. You have to take tiny little strokes to keep it inside. There we go. And then I used my Daffodil Delight, the light color, for my window here. Inside of the window here and inside of the window here. Sunshine coming through. Then I have, let me take a look here. I need my Highland Heather. And I need my Peach Pie. And I need my Boho Blue. Light Boho Blue. There we go. So Highland Heather I used on my door. There we go. Cute little Highland Heather door. Matches the outside of my card here. And then Boho Blue. I'm doing every other of the pennants at the top here in Boho Blue. Cute. And I did my window box in Boho Blue as well. I did grab a little bit of Pretty Peacock for the greenery in my window box. There we go. And then everything else is light and dark peach pie. So this RV is going to be a peach pie RV. Really liked my Pretty in Pink RV that I did earlier. Okay, add a little bit under my scallops right there. Are you guys slow blenders or fast blenders? I consider myself a pretty fast blender. I just kind of outline it and then fill in, right? And then I'm going to add a little bit of dark just in some certain areas here where shadows may lie. Grill in the front here. Underneath my awning. There we go. There's my RV. Maybe I should do my campfire while we're at it, right? Okay. So I'm going to add a rim around my campfire right there. I'm going to grab my light smoky slate now, down here at the bottom. I'm going to add some Daffodil Delight. Thank you, Sue. I like using blends. I think they're fun. The first time Stampin' Up! Came out with blends, they didn't work so well, and they got rid of them, and we were all so sad, and then they reformulated them, and they've been great ever since. Okay, so gonna die cut my RV. I already have my chair over here on my die cutting machine, and I'm gonna die cut out my campfire right there. Thanks, Becky. Nice to have you here. Thanks for sharing. Always appreciate the shares. All right, so I've got all of 3 of these things over here on my die cutting machine. I'm going to cut them all out at once. And you know, one thing I forgot is my sentiment, but we can do that real quick here. There we go. There are those pieces. I'm going to grab my sentiment, which I am using Let the Adventure Begin, and I want to stamp that in Night of Navy. There we go. I'm going to grab my label and die cut that out, and then I should have everything die cut that I needed here all at once. And all I have to do is pop them up on my card and add some gems. Okay, so this sentiment is going to get popped up right up here in this upper left corner. Let me add some dimensionals to that. Right there. My chair and my campfire. I think I'm going to put my RV on next. It's going to go right here in the middle. Look how cute those colors are together. Do you guys love that? I'm a color person, so I really prefer the colors on the RV versus that. I mean, I love that last card, but this is what my RV, if I ever got one, which I never will, would look like. There we go. This is going to go right about right there. See how all those colors blend together so well? My chair is right here. It's going to go just below my RV here. Boop, right like that. And then my campfire is going to go right next to him right here. All the fun. It's not really burning the tree. Think of that tree as being way far out in the background. You don't want to burn the tree down, right? Okay, there's our card front. I'm going to add some dimensionals. I said dimensionals. I'm going to add some rhinestones again. And I'm going to add just them in the sky like diamonds all over, wherever you want them. Cute, cute, cute. Maybe put one over here. I've got a tiny little bitty edge of ink right there, so maybe I'll add that rhinestone to cover that up. Right there. Opportunity for embellishment. There we go. And let's see, where else? Where else do we want these? Maybe another one over here. That would be 5. Nice even number. Right? There we go. Cute, cute, cute. She Shed on Wheels. Yeah, it would be fun if I had a mobile craft room, right? But only if I could stop at my friend's house all over the United States and use their bathroom and showers anytime I wanted. So fun. How cute is that So cute. Okay, so I've got my inside piece, and I have another panel of that DSP, the back side of that DSP, okay, with the stars. I could use either side, really. What size? I think I like this side better. On the inside, I'm going to put it on the left edge. This is about a 1-inch piece of DSP here. Shore that all up here at the bottom and adhere this to the inside, and that will be my 3 cards for today. Tomorrow will be 1 card, a fun fold of some kind, interactive fun fold. We haven't decided if it's going to be a fun fold or an interactive card, maybe both in one. There we go. And there's card number 3. So let me pull them all out for you guys here. Sorry I went a little long today, but hopefully you felt like it was worth it. So this is, such a mess here. I'm such a messy crafter. This is card number 3. This is, oh, thanks, Linda. Wouldn't that be fun? Here's card number 2, and here's card number 1. I hope you guys love these today. I hope you saw some fun things you could do with the Adventure Together stamp set and bundle with the dies. It's so much fun. You can get a kit in the mail with any online order of $45 or more. I cut all the pieces for you. I'm not allowed to do the stamping, so you'll need the stamp set and the die set to complete your cards like mine. But 2 more things to come. Tomorrow is our Fun Fold interactive card, and then on Wednesday will be a 3D project. And I've got the cutest little something to put in our 3D bride. It matches the whole camping theme. Yes, it's adorable. So join me back here tomorrow at 10, Wednesday at noon, and I have 2 more projects for this online class to go for this week. So God bless everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.